1. Your organization needs a system for restricting access to files based on the sensitivity of the information in those files. You might suggest: which of the following access control systems? A. Discretionary access control. B. Mandatory access control. C. Confidential access control. D. File-based access control. Answer: B. Mandatory access control, MAC, is a system used in environments with different levels of security classifications. Access to objects, like files, is based on the sensitivity of the information contained in those objects and the authorization of the user to access information with that level of sensitivity. 2. Which of the following describes a major difference between NTFS and FAT32 file systems? A. NTFS supports user-level access differentiation. B. FAT32 supports group-level access differentiation. C. FAT32 natively encrypts files and directories. D. NTFS logs all file access using secure tokens. Answer: A. NTFS supports user-level access differentiation and allows you to assign user permissions to files and folders. 3. Your organization has grown too large to support assigning permissions to users individually. Within your organization, you have large groups of users who perform the same duties and need the same type and level of access to the same files. Rather than assigning individual permissions, your organization may wish to consider using which of the following access control methods? A. Group-based access control. B. Shift-based access control. C. Role-based access control. D. File-based access control. Answer: C. Your organization could consider role-based access control. In role-based access control, instead of each user being assigned specific access permissions for the objects associated with the computer system or network, each user is assigned a set of roles that he or she may perform. The roles are in turn assigned the access permissions necessary to perform the tasks associated with the roles. Users will thus be granted permissions to objects in terms of the specific duties they must perform, not according to a security classification associated with individual objects. 4. A ticket granting server is an important element in which of the following authentication models? A. 802.1x. B. Radius. C. Tacox Plus. D. Kerberos. Answer: D. Kerberos uses ticket granting servers to manage the issuance of tickets granting various permissions on the system. 5. Which of the following is an open standard that uses security tokens and assertions and allows you to access multiple websites with one set of credentials? A. PAP. B. CHAP. C. SSO. D. SAML. Answer: D. SAML is an XML-based protocol that uses security tokens and assertions to pass information about a principal, typically an end user, to a SAML authority, an identity provider or IDP, and the service provider, SP. In simpler terms, by allowing identity providers to pass on credentials to service providers, SAML allows you can log into many different websites using one set of credentials. 6. What protocol is used for Radius? A. UDP. B. NetBIOS. C. TCP. D. Proprietary. Answer: A. Radius has been officially assigned UDP port 1812 for Radius authentication and port 1813 for Radius accounting by the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, IANA. However, previously, ports 1645, authentication, and 1646, accounting, were used unofficially and became the default ports assigned by many Radius client/server implementations of the time. the tradition of using 1645 and 1646 for backward compatibility continues to this day. For this reason, many Radius server implementations monitor both sets of UDP ports for Radius requests. Microsoft Radius servers default to 1812 and 1813, but Cisco devices default to the traditional 1645 and 1646 ports. 7. What are accounts with greater than normal user access called? A. Privileged accounts. B. System accounts. C. Super user accounts. D. Audit accounts. Answer: A. Privileged accounts are any accounts with greater than normal user access. Privileged accounts are typically root or admin level accounts, and represent risk in that they are unlimited in their powers. 8. You have to implement an OpenID solution. What is the typical relationship with existing systems? A. OpenID is used for authentication, OAuth is used for authorization. B. OpenID is used for authorization, OAuth is used for authentication. C. OpenID is not compatible with OAuth. D. OpenID only works with Kerberos. Answer: A. Typically OpenID is used for authentication, and OAuth is used for authorization. 9. You wish to create an access control scheme that enables the CFO to access financial data from his machine, but not from the machine in the reception area of the lobby. Which access control model is best suited for this? A. Role-based access control. B. Conditional access control. C. Mandatory access control. D. Discretionary access control. Answer: B. Conditional access control models allow differing access control schemes based on specific conditions beyond just user account. 10. You need to design an authentication system where users who have never connected to the system can be identified and authenticated in a single process. Which is the best solution? A. Radius. B. Password vault-based authentication. C. TPM-based authentication. D. Knowledge-based authentication. Answer: D. Knowledge-based authentication schemes allow the authentication of users who have not previously established their identity via a combined identification and authentication methodology.